All right, NBA Street. I just realized that. I mean, this is how you get good dribbling and passing, underhand timing, strength, coordination, timing and momentum of the ball. Not just relying upon game time to do something. No, I did this 500 times. So you find the groove for you. You got to have a little more style. You got to have a little more flair for some people, and then some people got to have less. Actually, some people got to be more organized, more structured. And some people got to get stronger. Think about here, because the ideal thing is that I'm able to, when LeBron's at St. Vincent, St. Mary, and he's on the fast break, and it's just like, it just feels like the ball's flying off his right hand. Yeah, well, that's where you want your hand strength to be, where it's just flying off your hand. Okay, that's strength. So they say strength doesn't come into play in basketball or something. Sure it does. I mean, hand strength right here, just with this one hand flip pass. See what I'm doing? It's just the more I have, this is a play in basketball. This is a thing that you would do. It's not the only thing you would do in basketball. You're going to do 8 other things probably. 10 other things, roles. It's like you got a restaurant or whatever. You got all these different roles to make something happen. Well, this is one player move that you want to have. Probably. You don't have to. It depends on maybe your position, but certainly perimeter player, I would add it into my game for doing the GTA, NBA Street. But you can see I'm working it in, so even I'm getting the momentum here. But I guess the idea is if I'm actually putting something into it, let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Let me see if I can show you what an NBA player looks like. Doesn't mean have a fucking jersey with a fucking Charlotte Hornets playing for fucking J23 or anything like that. I mean, that'd be crazy, right? What I'll do is often, it's too easy to do something. You're not bragging. You're an athlete. You're trying to do this as a vocation. But something with 2 hands is too easy. I'm crossing over in practice. I'm doing dribbling practice, and I'm always crossing over. I'm always crossing over. I'll get you off that. Find your one hand. Okay, 5 minutes. Think about it like that. I'm just on my left hand, so if I decide to cross over, I'm going to try to, make it connect differently, maybe like an and one player does or something like that. Maybe I'm working something into it. Okay, I have to get more creative with how I'm going to, keep my momentum. So now I think you're kind of working like a hockey player almost would, and it's not even really like basketball. I'm more like clawing my steps through the thing, and you're kind of playing like Brunson, I guess, if you're doing left hand. So this is basically him. If you're looking at player impersonations, is the best that I'd be able to. It's just Santa Monica, just impersonate people or something, some crap like that. So I guess this is what and then this would be like a drill. Come up with something, and there's good ball handling coaches on there, and that's super useful because that's one of the main skills of basketball is ball dribbling, which leads to passing. We got to know strategy and know how to where are the main points on the court. You got to know the structure and flow. What are the main points of the court? What are the pressure points of the court to get the bucket? The dribbling helps you get there, and the speed helps you get there. So how do I make the movement look like Federer? He's a good tennis player. 20 plus majors. Is that the record? You gotta let me know on that. But it's probably a scenario that's going to happen. It's like the ball is going to come to you in this awkward angle, and with here, no rep is the same. So you're getting the ball, 1,000 different places with this one thing, which is just a one-hand pass. But it's going to come up, and then you gotta, when you practice things like this, then you're going to evolve. Okay, well then now I'm going to do it here with this different add-on thing. This makes it. You're try to increase the difficulty, or just get better at it, more fluid at it. Can I start to throw them from these awkward angles? Picture Mahomes, right, as quarterback. Picture that as a basketball player out on the perimeter with these passes. He's catching the ball off these angles, meaning. Now, you can start getting creative on it, because I'm like, well, I'm coming from the side. Well, maybe I can come from over the top. That might be useful. Yeah. And you'll notice Curry is literally doing that. So how many players are matching Curry on that? They'll match Curry on the three-point attempts in practice. But what about these odd angle one-arm passes left and right? That's a big part of what success is at. Okay? So it's just about identifying what are the things that people, notice there's a gap maybe, or I don't know if these things are focused on when anyone can see, well, he's doing that a lot, right? So when I see the practice videos, I'm not really seeing that match up with how much maybe that passing and dribbling and speed, for the most part, when you're talking about a guard, is I think what your focus is. You mean I could be right-handed or left-handed, which means I'm just dribbling and I got to get through people out with that, but I'm playing with David Robinson. He needs 20 points. Okay, so many times I'm going to be going in there. I'm not thinking about this when I'm playing high school basketball, maybe, but if you were to make the next level, I got this big man that's going to need 16 points, and then whomever. So I'm always, I'm playing point guard. It comes down to I'm playing through these guys are great players, which makes your job easier. But that means what you have to bring to the table is fucking speed. To get through people, dump it off, get creative. So if you're going Donovan Mitchell, because I guess my height and body type might look like a current player, maybe like that, or Billups or something like that, past guys, even who do you want to play with, or Earl Watson or some crap like that. If you're more explosive, it's those UCLA guys are pretty good, Farmar and Collison. Just a model just playing sound fundamental basketball. Jay Williams at Duke, he's a classic good point guard. So you're not doing too much, but you're able to affect the game. So those are the good examples. Or Darren Williams at Illinois. We're talking about the college game. Yeah. Well, if you're an athlete, maybe you play college basketball, but you play in the NFL. I don't know. might change it up at some point. Who knows? You know, but here's my medicine ball work. I think I'll get a lot of people kind of doing some of my practices and what works for me. Getting my wind, my momentum. That travel too. You gotta go too. You know, find the architecture, find the art, find the culture. And then sometimes it's been dead, maybe, for a long time. I can sense it. The art, like the actual, well, they'll put the movie posters in Hollywood, but it's like, is there like a fucking movie fucking like vibe in the, not right now, you know, but it's not meant to take that long to, you know, get your fucking, you know, body correct. But I would think that working some of this in as a hooper, well, this is heavier than my fucking, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're just visualizing, or maybe you're just working on like a pivot. Kind of depends on how intense you want to go with it. I mean, there's intense workouts, I guess, but then some people do more like visualization workouts, I guess. You know, you put the equipment on and, you know, you're thinking about it. You at least have the equipment on. You know, it helps you get somewhere in the mind of what you're doing, I feel like. Just gonna put the equipment on and then, you know, get to it. I try to stay on a tool, so I call this like a workout tool. So I'm just doing a workout tool. This is gonna come into play with, like, I guess, golf. You know, you can make a living on all these things. It comes down to it. Now, can you make the PGA Tour? I don't know. Like, can you make the NBA? I don't know. But like, can you make a living with basketball? It's a different equation. And some people are figuring this out. Some people have figured stuff like this out. You know, can you make the NBA? I don't know. But can you make a living with basketball? Probably. Yeah. You know, more realistic, I guess. The real world. Show them a little bit of what I do. One of the reasons I like this is because it's like camping friendly. I always want to be camping friendly. You know, with my workouts, like, I don't need to fucking hit the Orange Theory or the Equinox. I mean, if it's there, if the core power is there, it's only $199 a month. It used to be $249. Should be $349. I mean, $500. I mean, at least. It's basically a character. This one. I mean, I just need some fucking hostess. I just need some pastries. Coffee. And strawberries. And pancakes. And French toast and whipped cream and powdered sugar. Maple syrup. You know? But you can't because your job's not fun enough. You're not a comedian or an athlete in the off season or anything like that. And you can't even afford your a home. It's $2.6 million. How the fuck are you gonna get $2.6 million? For the people that are not athletes or something like that, $2.6 million when you're making what you're making is like, how, bro? You know, or 1.6 million. It's just what it costs. It's just numbers, right? It's just a home. It's just, you know, what you feel like you deserve, I feel like. I gotta feel like I worked my body. Yeah. You try to find the right like work situation, but then you gotta just create it. It's not much fucking happen outside the big city usually. It's where the fuck it's supposed to be. Babe Ruth. I mean, it all comes back to Babe Ruth. You know, that's the reason for the whole catastrophe. It's the reason for 9/11. You know, it's fucking Red Sox. You hear about this? Red Sox traded Babe Ruth. You hear about this shit? What a fucking travesty. That's not gonna work out. That guy's golden. That guy pitches and he hits home runs. You hear about this shit? Bean Sox fucking traded Babe. You hear about this shit? Maybe time travel. I'm giving you bits. I'm giving you something. I'm making you scratch your head. At least. Which is good for me because you talk on a microphone. So you gotta know who I am. I can't let you decide everything. That's hearsay. Heresy. That's heresy. You know, that's straight heresy. And you know exactly the type of heresy that I'm talking about. Not only is that heresy, it's straight heresy, and you know exactly what it is. Oh my god, dude.